translation of Sahih Bukhari, Book 49, Peacemaking. Volume 3, Book 49, number 855. Narrated Sahih bin Sa'd, there was a dispute amongst the people of the tribe of Bani Amr bin Auf. The Prophet went to them along with some of his companions in order to make peace between them. The time for the prayer became due, but the Prophet did not turn up. Bilal pronounced the adhan, that is call for the prayer, but the Prophet did not turn up. So Bilal went to Abu Bakr and said, the time for the prayer is due and the Prophet I detained, would you lead the people in the prayer? Abu Bakr replied, yes, you wish. So, Bilal pronounced the iqamah of the prayer and Abu Bakr went ahead to lead the prayer, but the Prophet came walking among the rows till he joined the first row. The people started clapping and they clapped too much, and Abu Bakr used not to look hither and thither in the prayer, but he turned round and saw the Prophet standing behind him. The Prophet beckoned him with his hand to keep on praying where he was. Abu Bakr raised his hand and praised Allah and then retreated till he came in the first row, and the Prophet went ahead and led the people in the prayer. When the Prophet finished the prayer, he turned towards the people and said, O people! When something happens to you during the prayer, you start clapping. Really, clapping is permissible for women only. If something happens to one of you in his prayer, he should say Subhanallah, glorify be Allah, for whoever hears him saying so will direct his attention towards him. O Abu Bakr! What prevented you from leading the people in the prayer when I beckoned to you to continue? Abu Bakr replied, it did not befit the son of Abu Quhafa to lead the prayer in front of the Prophet. Number 856, narrated Anas, it was said to the Prophet, would that you see Abdullah bin Ubay. So, the Prophet went to him, riding a donkey, and the Muslims accompanied him, walking on salty barren land. When the Prophet reached Abdullah bin Ubay, the latter said, keep away from me. By Allah, the bad smell of your donkey has harmed me. On that, an Ansari man said to Abdullah, by Allah! The smell of the donkey of Allah's apostle is better than your smell. On that, a man from Abdullah's tribe got angry for Abdullah's sake, and the two men abused each other, which caused the friends of the two men to get angry, and the two groups started fighting with sticks, shoes and hands. We were informed that the following divine verse was revealed in this concern, and if two groups of believers fall to fighting, then make peace between them. Quran 49 verse 9. Number 857, narrated Kulthum bint Uqba, that she heard Allah's apostle saying, he who makes peace between the people by inventing good information or saying good things, is not a liar. Number 858, narrated Sahih bin Sa'd, once the people of Kuba fought with each other till they threw stones on each other. When Allah's apostle was informed about it, he said, let us go to bring about a reconciliation between them. Number 859, narrated Aisha, the following verse. If a woman fears cruelty or desertion on her husband's part, that is, the husband notices something unpleasant about his wife, such as old age or the like, and wants to divorce her, but she asks him to keep her and provide for her as he wishes, Quran 4 verse 128, there is no blame on them if they reconcile on such basis. Number 860, narrated Abu Hurairah and Zayd bin Khalid al-Juhani, a Bedouin came and said, O Allah's apostle! Judge between us according to Allah's laws. His opponent got up and said, he is right. Judge between us according to Allah's laws. The Bedouin said, my son was a laborer working for this man, and he committed illegal sexual intercourse with his wife. The people told me that my son should be stoned to death. So, in lieu of that, I paid a ransom of 100 sheep and a slave girl to save my son. Then I asked the learned scholars, who said, your son has to be lashed 100 lashes and has to be exiled for 1 year. The Prophet said, no doubt I will judge between you according to Allah's laws. The slave girl and the sheep are to go back to you, and your son will get 100 lashes and 1 year exile. He then addressed somebody, O Anais, go to the wife of this man and stone her to death. So Anais went and stoned her to death. Volume 3, Book 49, number 861, narrated Aisha, Allah's apostle said, if somebody innovates something which is not in harmony with the principles of our religion, that thing is rejected. Number 862, narrated Al-Bara bin Azib, when Allah's Apostle concluded a peace treaty with the people of Hudaybiyah, Ali bin Abu Talib wrote the document and he mentioned in it, Muhammad, Allah's Apostle. The pagans says, don't write Muhammad, Allah's Apostle, for if you were an apostle we would not fight with you. Allah's Apostle asked Ali to rub it out, but Ali said, I will not be the person to rub it out. Allah's Apostle rubbed it out and made peace with them on the condition that the Prophet and his companions would enter Mecca and stay there for 3 days, and that they would enter with their weapons in cases. Number 863, narrated Al-Bara, when the Prophet intended to perform Umrah in the month of Dhul-Qa'dah, the people of Mecca did not let him enter Mecca till he settled the matter with them by promising to stay in it for 3 days only. When the document of treaty was written, the following was mentioned. These are the terms on which Muhammad, Allah's Apostle, agreed to make peace. They said, we will not agree to this, for if we believe that you are Allah's Apostle we would not prevent you, but you are Muhammad bin Abdullah. The Prophet said, I am Allah's Apostle and also Muhammad bin Abdullah. Then he said to Ali, rub off the words Allah's Apostle, but Ali said, no, by Allah, I will never rub off your name. So, Allah's Apostle took the document and wrote, this is what Muhammad bin Abdullah has agreed upon. No arms will be brought into Mecca except in their cases, and nobody from the people of Mecca will be allowed to go with him, that is the Prophet, even if he wished to follow him, and he the Prophet will not prevent any of his companions from staying in Mecca if the latter wants to stay. When the Prophet entered Mecca and the time limit passed, the Meccans went to Ali and said, tell your friend that is the Prophet to go out, as the period agreed to has passed. So, the Prophet went out of Mecca. The daughter of Hamza ran after them, that is the Prophet and his companions, calling, O uncle! O uncle! Ali received her and led her by the hand and said to Fatima, take your uncle's daughter. Zayd and Ja'far quarreled about her. Ali said, I have more right to her as she is my uncle's daughter. Ja'far said, she is my uncle's daughter, and her aunt is my wife. Zayd said, she is my brother's daughter. The Prophet judged that she should be given to her aunt, and said that the aunt was like the mother. He then said to all, you are from me and I am from you, and said to Ja'far, you resemble me both in character and appearance, and said to Zayd, you are our brother in faith and our freed slave. Number 864, narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Apostle set out for the Umrah, but the pagans of Quraysh prevented him from reaching the Kaaba. So, he slaughtered his sacrifice and got his head shaved at Al-Hudaybiyah, and agreed with them that he would perform Umrah the following year and would not carry weapons except swords and would not stay in Mecca except for the period they allowed. So, the Prophet performed the Umrah in the following year and entered Mecca according to the treaty, and when he stayed for 3 days, the pagans ordered him to depart, and he departed. Number 865, narrated Sahal bin Abu Hathma, Abdullah bin Sahal and Muhayyisa bin Mazud bin Zayd went to Khaybar when it had a peace treaty with the Muslims. Number 866, narrated Anas, Arabi, the daughter of Anadar broke the tooth of a girl, and the relatives of Arabi requested the girl's relatives to accept the Ursh compensation for wounds etc. and forgive the offender, but they refused. So, they went to the Prophet, who ordered them to bring about retaliation. Anas bin Anadar asked, O Allah! Apostle! Will the tooth of Arabi be broken? No, by him who has sent you with the truth, her tooth will not be broken. The Prophet said, O Anas! Allah! Law ordains retaliation. Later the relatives of the girl agreed and forgave her. The Prophet said, there are some of Allah's slaves who, if they take an oath by Allah, are responded to by Allah, that is, their oath is fulfilled. Anas added, the people agreed and accepted the Ursh. Number 867, narrated Al-Hasan al-Basri, by Allah, Al-Hasan bin Ali led large battalions like mountains against Muawiyah. Amr bin al-As said to Muawiyah, I surely see battalions which will not turn back before killing their opponents. Muawiyah, who was really the best of the two men, said to him, O Amr! If these killed those and those killed these, who would be left with me for the jobs of the public? Who would be left with me for their women? Who would be left with me for their children? Then Muawiyah sent to Qurayshi men from the tribe of Abdi Shams called Abdurrahman bin Sumur and Abdullah bin Amir bin Quraysh to Al-Hasan, saying to them, "Go to this man, that is Al-Hasan, and negotiate peace with him and talk and appeal to him." So they went to Al-Hasan and talked and appealed to him to accept peace. Al-Hasan said, "We, the offspring of Abdul Muttalib, have got wealth and people have indulged in killing and corruption, and money only will appease them." They said to Al-Hasan, "Muawiyah offers you so and so, and appeals to you and entreats you to accept peace." Al-Hasan said to them, "But who will be responsible for what you have said?" They said, "We will be responsible for it." So, whatever Al-Hasan asked, they said, "We will be responsible for it for you." So, Al-Hasan concluded a peace treaty with Muawiyah. Al-Hasan al-Basri said, "I heard Abu Bakr saying, I saw Allah's Apostle on the pulpit and Al-Hasan bin Ali was by his side. The Prophet was looking once at the people and once at Al-Hasan bin Ali, saying, This son of mine is a Sa'id, that is a noble, and may Allah make peace between two big groups of Muslims through him." Number 868, narrated Aisha, once Allah's Apostle heard the loud voices of some opponents quarreling at the door. One of them was appealing to the other to deduct his debt and asking him to be lenient, but the other was saying, "By Allah, I will not do so." Allah's Apostle went out to them and said, "Who is the one who was swearing by Allah that he would not do a favor?" That man said, "I am that person, O Allah's Apostle. I will give my opponent whatever he wishes." Number 869, narrated Abdullah bin Ka'b bin Malik from Ka'b bin Malik, Abdullah bin Abu Hadrat al-Islami owed Ka'b bin Malik some money. One day the latter met the former and demanded his right, and their voices grew very loud. The Prophet passed by them and said, "O Ka'b," beckoning with his hand as if intending to say, "Deduct half the debts." So, Ka'b took half what the other owed him and remitted the other half. Number 870, narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Apostle said, "There is a sadaqah to be given for every joint of the human body. And for every day on which the sun rises there is a reward of a sadaqah, that is charitable gift for the one who establishes justice among people." Number 871, narrated Urwa bin Zubair, Zubair told me that he quarreled with an Ansari man who had participated in the Battle of Badr in front of Allah's Apostle about a water stream which both of them used for irrigation. Allah's Apostle said to Zubair, "O Zubair, irrigate your garden first, and then let the water flow to your neighbor." The Ansari became angry and said, "O Allah's Apostle, is it because he is your cousin?" On that the complexion of Allah's Apostle changed because of anger and said to Zubair, "I irrigate your garden and then withhold the water till it reaches the walls surrounding the palms." So, Allah's Apostle gave Zubair his full right. Before that Allah's Apostle had given a generous judgment beneficial for Zubair and the Ansari, but when the Ansan irritated Allah's Apostle he gave Zubair his full right according to the evident law. Zubair said, "By Allah, I think the following verse was revealed concerning that case. But know by your Lord they can have no faith until they make you judge in all disputes between them." Quran 4 verse 65. Number 872, narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, "My father died and was in debt. I suggested that his creditors take the fruits, that is dates, of my garden in lieu of the debt of my father, but they refused the offer, as they thought that it would not cover the full debt. So, I went to the Prophet and told him about it. He said to me, 'When you pluck the dates and collect them in the Murbad, that is a place where dates are dried, call me Allah's Apostle.' Finally he came accompanied by Abu Bakr and Umar and sat on the dates and invoked Allah to bless them. Then he said, 'Call your creditors and give them their full rights.' So, I paid all my father's creditors in full, and yet 13 extra was qs of dates remained, 7 of which were awa and 6 were lawn, or 6 of which were awa and 7 were lawn. I met Allah's Apostle at sunset and informed him about it. On that he smiled and said, 'Go to Abu Bakr and Umar and tell them about it.' They said, 'We perceived that was going to happen, as Allah's Apostle did what he did.' Number 873, narrated Abdullah bin Ka'b, that Ka'b bin Malik told him that in the lifetime of Allah's Apostle he demanded his debt from Ibn Abu Hadrat in the mosque. Their voices grew louder till Allah's apostle heard them while he was in his house. So he lifted the curtain of his room and called Ka'b bin Malik, saying, "O Ka'b." He replied, "Labbaik, O Allah's apostle." He beckoned to him with his hand, suggesting that he deduct half the debt. Ka'b said, "I agree, O Allah's apostle." Allah's apostle then said to Ibn Abu Hadrad, "Get up and pay him the rest."